Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video because what I'm about to share could completely change the way you see love after 60. Right now, I want you to pause and think. Have you ever felt invisible to the man you care about? Maybe he's present physically but emotionally distant. Or worse, he takes your love for granted without even noticing. That ache you feel? That's your intuition screaming that something isn't right. And here's the truth most people won't tell you. It's not about nagging him, changing yourself, or hoping he'll suddenly wake up. It's about shifting the balance of power in your relationship in a way that makes him realize your worth without you having to beg for it. Many women think love after 60 means settling for whatever is left or being grateful for attention, no matter how small. But let me tell you, settling will silently erode your confidence, your joy, and your sense of self. If he doesn't value you, the solution is not to try harder to impress him. It's to awaken a recognition in him that the woman he's lucky to be with won't tolerate disrespect. Imagine this. You stop bending over backwards to accommodate his every whim. You stop ignoring your own needs in the hope he'll reciprocate. Instead, you show up fully for yourself. You honor your desires, your boundaries, your standards, and suddenly, the dynamic shifts. He starts noticing the woman who no longer hides her brilliance or forgives mediocrity. This isn't manipulation, it's psychology. People respond to presence, confidence, and self-respect. Men, especially after 60, are wired to notice the women who refuse to settle because those women radiate stability, self-worth, and passion. And here's the kicker. When you stop seeking validation from him, he's forced to reflect on what he's been missing. That subtle absence of your emotional availability triggers a mirror inside him. A mirror that reflects his own negligence and awakens the desire to make amends. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal specific strategies that create this shift without games or ultimatums. These are techniques that make him consciously recognize your value, appreciate your presence, and, if he's capable, step up in ways he never has before. But first, you need to commit to one thing: absolute honesty with yourself. A love worth having will never thrive if you're silently tolerating disrespect. Let's get real for a moment. Most men after 60 have patterns. Some are unintentional, born from years of habit, while others are subtle signs of deeper disinterest. But here's the truth that's hard to hear. If he consistently dismisses your feelings, overlooks your needs, or makes you feel small, he is showing you who he really is. Not who he wants you to think he is, but who he genuinely is when no one is watching. And that, my dear, is the starting point for transformation. Not in him, but in you. You see, too often women stay in relationships hoping for a change that never comes. They give more, tolerate more, and adjust their lives around a man who doesn't see their worth. This doesn't just create frustration, it chips away at the very core of who you are. But here's a subtle truth most people miss. You can influence change, but only if you first reclaim your own power. Change doesn't happen through nagging, guilt, or desperation. It happens when a man realizes that losing you would be the biggest mistake of his life. And to create that realization, you must shift your energy from dependence to presence. Start with boundaries. Not in a harsh or punitive way, but in a deliberate, self-respecting way. A boundary is not an ultimatum, it is a declaration of your value. For example, if he consistently cancels plans, stops answering messages, or dismisses your input, simply reduce your availability. Focus on your passions, your friendships, your health, your life outside the relationship. The moment he notices that your time is not endlessly at his disposal, the perception of your value rises exponentially. It's almost magnetic. Next, embrace the power of emotional contrast. Men respond to women who bring emotional richness, not emotional exhaustion. Share your joy, your laughter, your curiosity, but don't overextend into constant caretaking or apologetic compromise. Let him see that your world is vibrant, full, and independent of him. This isn't about punishment, it's about awakening awareness. When a man senses a woman who refuses to settle for less, it ignites reflection. Suddenly, he is confronted with the question, do I want to continue taking this for granted, or do I step up? Finally, remember, patience is your secret ally. Transformation rarely occurs overnight. He must feel the absence of what he's been neglecting. and that requires space, consistency, and emotional integrity from you. But when done right, this process rewires the dynamic, shifting it from frustration to mutual respect, from indifference to conscious appreciation. Now let's talk about a truth most women avoid confronting. Sometimes a man's failure to value you isn't about you at all. It's about his fears, his ego, and the habits he's carried for decades. Men after 60 often struggle with vulnerability, intimacy, and the discomfort of change. But here's the crucial insight. You don't fix him. You don't rescue him. What you do is create a mirror in which he sees the consequences of his behavior, and it's powerful. When you stop tolerating indifference, when you refuse to lower your standards, you force him to confront his choices in a way that words alone could never achieve. Let's get specific. Emotional withdrawal is not cruelty, it's clarity. If he's ignoring your contributions, belittling your feelings, or treating your love as optional, gently but firmly step back. Focus on living a life so rich and compelling that your absence isn't a void. It's a wake-up call. Pursue passions you may have neglected, strengthen friendships, and engage with the world in ways that remind you and him of your full worth. The message isn't, "I'm punishing you." It's, "I am whole with or without you, and I will not accept less than I deserve." Simultaneously, leverage subtle recognition. Men respond to acknowledgement and admiration, but not at the expense of self-respect. When he demonstrates small acts of care, appreciation, or attention, acknowledge them without over-investing. Praise selectively, reinforcing behavior that aligns with your standards. This is psychological nuance at work. You reward alignment, not compliance, and he begins to realize that respect and effort are non-negotiable if he wants to maintain closeness. Another powerful tool is curiosity. Instead of assuming he knows how his actions affect you, create gentle opportunities for reflection. Ask questions that require introspection. How do you feel when I express my needs? Or, do you notice when I'm feeling undervalued? These questions aren't confrontational, they are subtle mirrors, forcing him to engage with his own patterns. And here's the secret most women never embrace. Your consistency is more persuasive than any argument. Boundaries, emotional richness, selective praise, and curiosity, executed consistently, shift the relational equilibrium. Men, especially at this stage of life, respond to structure, clarity, and presence. If you remain steady, unshakable, and deeply connected to your own worth, the man who undervalued you cannot help but notice. He is confronted with a truth that can no longer be ignored. If he doesn't change, he risks losing the woman he has taken for granted all along. Now, let's explore a reality that is uncomfortable but absolutely essential. Love after 60 isn't about chasing validation. It's about commanding respect through presence. Many women think that constant attention or over-explaining themselves will awaken appreciation, but the opposite is true. Men notice what they cannot easily control, and the most effective way to inspire change is by cultivating a magnetic, undeniable presence. This doesn't mean playing games. It means living deliberately, with self-respect at the forefront of every action. Start with emotional autonomy. If you have spent decades adapting your moods, prioritizing his comfort, or suppressing your feelings, it's time to reverse the roles, but not as a punishment. Instead, embody the truth that your inner world is rich, vibrant, and independent. Laugh freely, speak openly about your passions, and embrace your life outside the relationship. This creates an irresistible tension. He begins to see that he is not the center of your universe, and that absence makes the heart grow clearer, sharper, and more reflective. Simultaneously, harness the art of selective engagement. When he shows appreciation or makes effort, respond warmly, but never exhaustively. Keep interactions meaningful but balanced. This contrast between availability and independence triggers recognition. A man who once took your presence for granted now experiences the subtle friction of realization. He can't demand your energy. He must earn it. Another critical dimension is self-investment. Men respect women who invest in themselves physically, emotionally, and intellectually. This isn't about vanity. It's about reinforcing your value in a way that is palpable, visible, and impossible to ignore. Whether it's nurturing your health, developing new skills, or cultivating hobbies, your commitment to your own life communicates a powerful message. You are worthy, complete, and non-negotiable. Finally, understand the power of mystery. A woman who is entirely transparent, entirely available, and entirely predictable loses the edge of influence. Without being secretive or deceptive, maintain an aura of unpredictability in your energy, your presence, and your attention. Men are wired to chase what they cannot fully possess. When he senses that you are whole and discerning, desire is naturally reignited. Remember, this is not about control. It's about awakening conscious awareness. The man who has undervalued you is now confronted with the undeniable truth. To be close to you, he must step into alignment with your standards, your boundaries, and your worth. And if he refuses, that is a reflection of him, not you. True love after 60 is never about compromise at the cost of self-respect. It's about mutual recognition, respect, and the rare thrill of being with someone who will not settle for less than their own value. Let's cut to the core truth. Most men after 60 have a comfort zone that keeps them safe, predictable, and sometimes blind to what they're losing. But here's the reality. Comfort does not create appreciation. Challenge does. And I'm not talking about conflict or drama. I'm talking about subtle, unwavering presence that reminds him what he stands to lose. When you consistently live with boundaries, self-respect, and emotional richness, you create a psychological tension that cannot be ignored. This tension is what forces reflection, change, and ultimately respect. One of the most overlooked tools is non-attachment. This doesn't mean detachment from love. It means detachment from neediness. Men instinctively notice when a woman's happiness isn't fully tied to their attention. It's a profound shift. Instead of constantly proving your worth, you radiate it effortlessly. This shift changes the narrative in his mind. Suddenly he asks himself, consciously or unconsciously, am I giving her what she deserves? And the truth he confronts may shock him. He has been taking her presence, love, and effort for granted. Another layer is emotional contrast. If you've been overly available, now is the time to cultivate richness outside the relationship. Pursue hobbies, connect with friends, and immerse yourself in life experiences that feed your soul. Show, don't tell, that your life is full with or without his attention. The subtle absence of dependence creates a mirror he cannot avoid. Men, especially after 60, are wired to respond when they realize that a woman's affection is a choice, not a guarantee. Simultaneously, recognize the power of recognition without surrender. When he demonstrates even small acts of appreciation or care, acknowledge them, but do so with elegance and restraint. This reinforces behavior aligned with your standards without eroding your self-respect. It's a psychological principle, reward alignment, not compliance. Over time, he begins to internalize that respect, attention, and effort are the only currencies that keep your connection alive. Finally, embrace the long view. Change does not happen overnight, and the man who undervalues you may initially resist, test, or push boundaries. Stay consistent, grounded, and unshakable. Every boundary, every pursuit of self-growth, every moment of emotional richness compounds into an undeniable truth. A woman who knows her worth cannot be ignored. And when he truly sees you, fully, unapologetically, he faces a choice: step up or step aside. The power is no longer in his hands alone. It is shared because you have reclaimed your own. Now let's bring this full circle. You've learned that love after 60 isn't about pleading, nagging, or sacrificing your self-worth to earn attention. It's about presence, boundaries, and self-respect so strong that it cannot be ignored. The man who has undervalued you is not just being careless. He is unconsciously testing whether you will tolerate mediocrity. And the moment you stop tolerating it, you flip the entire dynamic. You are no longer the passive participant. You are the force that sets the tone of respect, attention, and love. Start with one unwavering principle. Your value is non-negotiable. It doesn't depend on his mood, his approval, or his willingness to change. When you anchor yourself in that truth, every interaction becomes a statement of self-respect. You no longer justify, explain, or compromise your needs to make him comfortable. Instead, you radiate clarity, dignity, and emotional richness that makes him realize what he's been overlooking. That realization is far more powerful than any argument. It stirs reflection, desire, and ultimately change. Next, leverage the subtle art of presence and absence. Be fully engaged in your own life, your passions, your friendships, and your growth. Simultaneously, allow space where he can feel the consequences of undervaluing you. This isn't punishment, it's an invitation to wake up. Men respond not to pressure, but to the recognition that love, care, and attention are precious and must be earned. When he senses that you are whole without him, his perspective shifts. Respect and effort become necessary to maintain connection because he sees that your love is a choice, not a given. And remember, reinforcement is key. When he makes the effort, acknowledge it with elegance, gratitude, and selectiveness. Reward alignment, not mere presence. This subtle feedback rewires patterns, creating a pathway for him to rise, or revealing clearly whether he is capable of stepping into alignment with the woman you are. Finally, internalize this truth. Love after 60 is a reflection of self-worth, not desperation. You are not here to fix him. You are here to honor yourself. If he chooses to meet you in full respect and appreciation, you have created fertile ground for deep, authentic love. If he doesn't, you are free, unbound, unshaken, and ready for a connection worthy of your value. Take this knowledge, hold it close, and live it unapologetically. The moment you do, the man who once undervalued you can either rise to meet the brilliance you embody or step aside, leaving room for love that truly sees and honors you. The choice, ultimately, is his. The power, without question, is yours.